actual meet we have of the year. Leah, it's good to see you. Pop by Queen, how are you? Good to see you. All these faces here. Cindy Griffey, Ron Margalis, Jesse, Shireen, Benina, what's up there? Ebony, Jennifer McClellan. She did great on scripts the other day, by the way. Bo, if you're on here, she's the next scripts queen. She was great at scripts the other day. Tell me something good. We got 51 people on here. Something's got to be good. Ross, you already kicked it off. You might as well kick it off again, man, that you have no fever today.
Yeah, that, man. And I closed a transaction that was really cool to me. So a person that I met on the internet years ago, I helped them sell their first or buy their first house. Then he actually came to work for me in real estate. And then, you know, he transitioned to a different career. However, used me to help sell his house. You know, I got to be the officiant for him for his wedding, and we just closed on a purchase of his house. And the reason why that's a win is because our team is built on relationship, and I don't know how far deep we can go in relationship other than that. So that was just an awesome win.
Oh, good job. Congratulations on that. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. Linda, come on. You got to come on and say that. You can't type it in the box, Linda. You got to shout that out. And Cindy's got everything. So who wants to go first, Cindy or Linda?
I'll go.
All right. Go ahead,
I closed a double-ended transaction. It was a good friend of mine, and they moved to Palm Desert area. And I called an agent to refer her to over there. And I didn't want an EXP agent because I wanted to recruit them. So I called an agent, and she was in the process of switching to EXP.
Oh.
So I kind of had to use her, and I did, and we just closed. So I just got a referral fee plus double-ended the sale over here. So that was a win-win.
All right. Hey, but your methods were on point. You were thinking the right way. So good job. Awesome, Cindy. Congratulations on the double.
And I signed up another seasoned agent, and she had an encounter with a shark rubbing up against her the day that she was supposed to sign on, and kind of got freaked out and kind of went dark for a couple days. But she's back. She's signing up, and she's leaving a small company, and she's excited. And she only closed like 6 deals last year, but she's fired up to do 20, maybe go for Icon. So we'll see.
I like it. That's kind of funny. What kind of excuse would that be, right? Why didn't you sign up yet? Well, I got grazed by a shark the other day, so I didn't have a chance to get on and sign up.
She's a surfer. She's a surfer girl, and she got tossed around like a rag doll. But man, she was lucky. She's all bruised, but that was it.
Man, all right, you got to write that one in the books of like real like excuses. I love it. Well, congratulations, Cindy. You got some good momentum going on, girl.
Thanks.
Good for you. All right, Linda, come on.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Doing well.
Good, good. Robin, I just qualified today for Icon status for the 4th year in a row.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ew.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. Congratulations. You guys are rock stars. And for those out there who want to believe we're not production related, we don't sell real estate. We just recruit people. No, we sell some real estate. Good job, Linda and Rob. You guys are awesome. Out in Florida.
Thank you.
Hold it down. Congratulations. See who else you had that. Ronnie had his hand raised. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Well, I also had a double-ended closing. Cindy and I are the rebels in Dylan's group, but careful rebels we are. No, but a bigger win actually was I had a client who became a dear friend, moved here from the North Shore of Oahu, said he was going to live here for a year while his home was being built on the golf course in Bend, Oregon. And called me a couple of weeks ago to say, hey, we decided to move there early. And I'm going to list my house with my friend across the street because, you know, he's got 3 kids and he told me he'd do it for 1%. And at first I was like, you know, sort of competing. And then my wife had a great spin on it, which I embraced. And rather than sort of being upset or mad, I thought, gee, I wonder if that guy would be interested in learning about EXP model. He's a young agent. He's with a brokerage that doesn't provide what we provide. And so I've got a Zoom with him right after, well, in 2 hours to talk to him about that.
Awesome, dude. Again, tapping into that. You're being a rebel, but Dylan, he's being a good rebel. I know that, Cindy. We're letting Dylan know right now. You guys are being a good rebel. Good things are coming from it. Let's just say that. So congratulations to you both. You guys are doing it. Awesome. All right. Who else? Somebody else had their hand raised. I know we got some more. We got 56 people on here. We got to have something good. Christmas is over. New Year's is done. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, marriages, divorces. I mean, all of it can be good. Brandy.
I just found out I'm going to be a grandma for the 3rd time, and it's a girl.
Ooh, all right. Good
Pretty
job.
excited.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Add into the family tree. I love it. Good for you. Are they out there in Utah too, or where are they at?
So he's actually a Marine, so they're at Pendleton right now. But he's going to be out in 2 years, and then they'll be out here in Utah. They'll build on the compound. So
Awesome. On the compound. I love it. Awesome. All right. Is there anybody here who wants to introduce somebody here? If we've got a guest on here, they want to introduce somebody, go ahead, Dylan.
I want to introduce Brent when it comes time. Can I do that? I got some stuff to say.
Absolutely. Look at that. Yeah. He's our Jimmy Buffer. And in the right corner. Yes, we definitely will let Dylan. You can handle that one, but I love it. Before we jump in that real quick, though, one more last thing. Anybody got something or anybody want to share? Like somebody, Jesse, go for it.
Just super happy that the Kona airport is now open again. It was shut for half a day. My daughter's on Oahu with 70 of her club kids and parents. So super happy that it's open again.
I know I heard that last night. It's like, did you really shut down an airport? And like, okay, I guess they do. And it was some cracks in the runway, right? Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
and real estate related. We should be opening escrow at a 1.1 today.
Nice. Congratulations. Good job. You guys are crushing it out there too. I love it. I love it. All right.
I want to introduce Daphne Halverson, who's a new team member.
Yes.
We've given her the Justice Blueprint, so we're hoping she'll do 60 sales here in her first year of real estate by following the model. And also Tyler Owens, who's joining us from Frigid Spokane, one of our agents up there.
Frigid Spokane. That's why he's got a hoodie and a sweatshirt. Hey, here we go. Tyler, awesome. Real quick, you guys want to say something? Introduce yourself real quick here. I don't want to put you on the spot. Daphne, Tyler, you want to introduce yourself? Say hi. Go for it.
Excited to be here. I don't know. I'm here. I'm just here to absorb at this point. Take it all in.
I love it. Well, welcome. And this is the best day to be here to absorb. I love it. Appreciate you coming in. Welcome to the team. Tyler, go for it.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I actually have two great good news things. One, I had a difficult closing. We had some squatters. They were on the other side of the planet, my clients. After closing, they sent me a big, awesome Christmas card with some extra stuff. So that's great. So when we go above and beyond, I think we can get more and show that we actually care. We're not just realtors, right? And then two, this is my first time where I sold a person's house. They moved to Montana. Now they're moving back. So we're going to be searching here in the summer. So that's just a cool run around. It's my first time seeing it. So really excited.
Awesome, dude. Look at that. Coming in here, crushing it already. And you're
trying.
Now you're doing it. No trying. You're doing it. Love it. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Welcome to the team. Excited to have you part of it. Love your energy and good job. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, then if that's it, we'll cover it. We're going to move on to the man himself, and we'll let Dylan take this over, my friend. I'll meet you, Mike, and you can have this one, my friend. Go for it.
All right. So I was just inspired to do this just as this call was going on, especially with Martin Luther King Day yesterday. And so I'll start with a principle and then relate it to Brent. So the first thing is that I think it was Alex Hormozy that I was listening to, and he had this perspective on if you can delay in this world that we live in an immediate gratification, right? And we want to see immediate results. Is if you can delay the need for results for a year, you can change your life, right? If you can put the work in and delay the results for a year, you can change your life. If you can delay results for 10 years, any expectation of results for 10 years, you can change many people's lives, right? If you put the work in and you have no expectation of results for 10 years. But if you can put work in and have no expectation to ever see the results in your lifetime, you can change the world. Right. And this was in relation to Martin Luther King, guys like him. I mean, John Kennedy, you can name the people who have changed the world, never saw the results of the work and the sacrifices that they made during their lifetime. Right. And so I don't know if it's fair to put Brent Gove in the same category as Martin Luther King, but I'm going to do that. All right. So he's going to be okay with this. So I was at EXPCon like maybe 3 years ago or something, and I'm in the lounge and I'm getting some breakfast, and I sit down next to a couple, and I just introduce myself and start talking to them and ask where they're from, and they say they're from Sacramento, and I said, "Oh, you must know Brent Gove," and they said, "Oh yeah, we've known Brent Gove for 25 years." And I think this story is important, you guys, because you guys look at Brent Gove and you see where he is today. But I didn't know him prior to EXP. Chris has known him longer, but it's important to understand where people come from and who they are, not today, but who they were, 25 years ago. And that's why I tell this story. Is I'm talking to this couple and I asked them if they know Brent Gove, and they say, yeah, they know Brent Gove. And I said, yeah, he's awesome. I love that guy. And they were like, yeah, what's really amazing about Brent is that he's the same guy he was today 25 years ago. He has always been invested in people, sharing, giving, speaking, inspiring people. And 25 years ago when he was at Remax and prior, after that when he was at KW, there was very limited amount of benefit to doing that, right? Like investing in people, sharing what you do, speaking at events, inspiring folks, that there was no benefit to doing that other than just putting good energy into the universe and hoping that you get repaid, right? And what they told me is Brent today is being rewarded for the work he put in the last 25 years, right? The EXP model is rewarding him for what he did for the last 25 years. And so when you look at Brent and you think, oh, he got lucky and he was an early adopter and he just got the right people. And, you tell yourself all these excuses in your head on why you're not seeing the same type of results, right? But are you putting in the work today with no expectation of results, and maybe 10 years from now you're going to be rewarded for it. Maybe 30 years from now you're going to, maybe never, right? Maybe your kids in your community will see the results. But I just think about that all the time. When people have seen success, people just see them where they're at today, and they never saw the work that went in years and years and years prior to that, decades prior to that, and when you actually reap the results. So just remember that Brent was always the same guy. Anybody who's known him for a long time, this is not a new thing what he does today. This has always been what he's done, and he's just seen the results of all that work today and all that contribution. So with that, everybody, Brent Gove.
Well, thank you, Dylan, man. That's the first time in my life I have been compared to Martin Luther King or anything like that. So, wow, what a compliment. And hey, I'll take it. Thank you very much. But there's Brent and there's Martin Luther King, man. I have a dream. I love the I have a dream speech. One of my most, some people I respect was obviously Martin Luther King, and then Tiananmen Square. I don't know if you guys remember that guy. He's out grocery shopping. He's got 2 little plastic bags, and the tanks are running into Tiananmen Square, and it crushed the student rebellion. Tanks against unarmed students, and he goes out, stands in front of the tank. It's an iconic picture with this two. I wish I was that brave to stand in front of a tank. And the communist soldiers like, do we just crush him, run him over? They're like, oh hell no! They turn the tank, goes pivots right, and then it starts to move, and he shimmies over right. Then it pivots the other way, and he shimmies over the other way. He stopped, and all the tanks just went. They just stopped. One man with some coconuts, as they say in Hawaii, was able to stop 15 tanks from rolling into Tiananmen Square. I love that, man. I love stories of people stepping up and being brave in the face of adversity. So thank you, Dylan. That was definitely kinder than I deserve. So first of all, yes, it is true. Long time ago, I got involved in the personal development space. I've been loving and serving people for a long time. In fact, how long? I was thinking I was 38 years, and started, I was 19-year-old dishwasher, and my dad came up and gave me Dr. Dennis Waitley tapes and Zig Ziglar tapes and stuff like Jim Rome, and I started listening to, I remember listening specifically to, my apologies, how do I get rid of this? Hey, buddy, I didn't know how to send you to voicemail. I'm actually on a Zoom with a huge group, and there was no button to send you to voicemail, so I got to call you later. I'm sorry.
No problem. I thought we had a call today. That's why
All
I
right.
jumped on.
No problem. Bye-bye. All right. I'll see you. All right, good. All right, so sorry about that. Usually there's a button to send someone to voicemail. That's a good friend of mine. I'm like, oh, I'll call you later. So where was I? I digress. But I remember washing dishes and listening to Zig Ziglar and Dr. Dennis Waitley. They talked about having a great attitude, and your attitude determines your altitude. We love being around people with a sucky attitude. They're horrible. They're negative. We love being around those people, right? Wrong. You know what I mean? And so I remember Bill Lowe in high school. Everyone loved Bill Lowe. Why did everyone love Bill Lowe? The stoners loved him. The jocks loved him. The acting club, the drama club loved him. The nerds, the computer nerds with the white tape. Everybody loved Bill Lowe. He's the only guy I could think of in my high school. We had 480 students graduate. What was Bill Lowe's magic? Now, I'm a Christian, WWJD. What would Jesus do? But back then, I wasn't. It was like WWBD. What would Bill do? And I remember thinking about his life at 19 because all of a sudden I got into sales at 19. I was gripped with fear. I used to shake so hard, people would like grab me and say, hey, it's okay. Go ahead. I'll listen to you. And I was like, man, I was rugby player, soccer player, baseball, little league. I was a pretty decent athlete. And also I'm like just shaking because I had my buddies and people I drank beer with and played rugby with. But man, when you talk to people you don't know, I was freaked out. And this one woman goes, come here. She put her arm on my shoulder. She says, it's okay. She was an interior designer. Just take a breath. I'm going to listen to you. And they respect you being afraid. Now, there are some a-holes. They're just like, get away from me, whatever. And those are the takers. But the good people, the ones you want, they'll hear you out. And so I started listening to tapes, reading the books. And so my dad, when I was 19, signed me up for Amway. Might as well have been Facebook, Instagram, Google. Meant nothing to me. Amazon, Amway, the word meant nothing. And the concepts sound good. Biodegradable products that are good for the earth, good for the environment, don't pollute the waterways. It's the 80s. People show lakes with soap, rivers that are polluted. I'm like, hey, this is a good thing. Biodegradable soaps, we use them. So I thought it was I'm a 19-year-old kid making minimum wage washing dishes. You just go sign up all your college buddies and your college professors. So I did. I went and talked to him, and I ended up with 3,000 people in my group by the time I was 23. So I've done two things in my life. I've done Amway and I've done real estate. I did Amway for 10 years. And so I did team build. I did pour into people and love people. And I think that's the key. One of the speakers I learned from long ago says the size of the window you give through is the size of the window you get through. And if you don't like what you've been given, check what you've been getting. If you don't like what you're receiving, check what you've been giving. The more you give, the more you get. You don't give to get, but I'm telling you right now, the more love you give. What did Bill Lowe give everyone at Del Campo High School back in 1981, 82, 83, and 84 to make them? Everybody loved Bill. They freaking loved him. Everybody. You know what he gave them? Personal respect, dignity, love. He slowed down. He talked to the chess nerds. He talked to the glee club. The drama club. He talked to the wrestlers. He talked to the brainiacs, the valedictorian. He was kind and he had a big smile and he was bigger than life because he came in expecting nothing, wanting nothing, but just he came to love. And man, everybody loved Bill Lowe. He passed away at 47. I bawled like a baby when I heard he passed away. I mean, I sobbed hard. Hadn't talked to him in 27 years, 28, 29 years. I moved on with my life. He went another direction. I cried hard when he died because he was probably one of the most instrumental people in my life. And my greatest regret is I never got a chance to tell him. So make sure you tell people, But, so I got into real estate. And by the way, I struggled. You heard me see I remember David Lindsay, Whitmire Ford, Chico, California, grabbing my elbow, my forearm, going, hey, it's okay. Calm down. I remember that the interior designer woman, hey, it's okay. Calm down. I struggled, but I did it anyway. And I faced that adversity and went on to succeed. I get into real estate, same thing. First 6 months, I'm 30 years old. I went bankrupt at 29 and I sold 3 homes in 6 months. Now, part of it was I was ashamed that I'd failed in Amway, that I had to do something besides Amway. And so, what was Amway? Loving people, serving people, giving. Well, that wasn't my experience. Well, I was in RE/MAX. I met people who had a bad experience with a RE/MAX agent. And like, RE/MAX sucks. No, RE/MAX doesn't suck. The agent you dealt with sucks. Like Ronnie's shirt, average sucks. And Coldwell Banker's the worst company on the planet. Why? Well, I know this agent. No, Coldwell Banker's a great company. The agent's what you knew. Same with EXP. So if someone's all this, and the bottom line is negative, toxic people are going to be negative and toxic about darn near everything. So when you see them, steer clear of them. The worst thing you could do is sponsor a negative, toxic person into EXP, because birds of a feather flock together. They go get their negative, toxic friends, and then you get the negative, toxic group. You'll be miserable. So what does that mean? Culture is everything. Culture counts. It's a big deal. So I got a couple things that I wrote down here. I prepared a special message for you guys today. And number one, I want to say this. Congratulations. We closed the chapter on 2023. If you had a great year, awesome. If you had a bad year, awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But what's great about a new year is it's a new beginning if you make it a new beginning. But if you take yesterday's baggage into 224, you're destined to repeat 223. So how do you not take yesterday's baggage? And what is yesterday's baggage? Well, right here, these are my, I've got like 40 pages of notes, probably 400. And I have my things to implement, key quotes from Tony Robbins. And he said, Tony Robbins says this: 80% of the chokehold in your business right now is your personal psychology. It's not interest rates. It's not the governor of the Hawaiian Islands. It's not the broker of Hawaii for EXP or Remax or Keller Williams or whoever. It's not your wife, not your husband. It's not your teenage son or daughters giving you a run for the money. It is you. You are the issue. And the second you take 100% ownership for your life going to change. And so here's the deal. What's it going to be for 2024? More of the same? If you're on fire and you're happy, hey, continue on. I mean, some people are on fire. They're doing great. You get the 5 big areas of your life: family, faith, finances, fun, and fitness. Family, faith, finances, fun, and fitness. The 5 big rocks. And so how you doing? You may be crushing all 5. Hey, keep going. But some of you are like, man, I'm about to get divorced. So I have a question for you. Everybody sets 40 goals for the year. I recommend you get one big goal. What do you mean by that? What's the one thing that'll move the needle more this year? Like, if I do this, 2024 was amazing. And for some of you, it's saving your marriage. It's more important than selling 100 homes. It's more important than getting out of debt. Saving your marriage. For some of you, it's saving your 15-year-old. I went and had sushi with a gentleman years ago. We were talking, we're sitting at the sushi bar. It was lunchtime, and we were chatting back and forth. I go, so how's your family doing, man? Normal question. He looked at me, leaned over, put his hand in his hand, and then he starts to cry. Then he starts to cry. Then he starts to cry harder. Then he's sobbing. I mean, sobbing. I mean, all of a sudden I see the floors getting wet. And 3 minutes go by. It's getting worse. The bartender's looking at me, and the sushi bar. He's like, what did you do? I'm like, I didn't do anything. I asked him how his family was. Like, people were in the restaurant look at me. He cried uncontrollably for 15 minutes. I've never seen a human being cry that hard in my life, because his 18-year-old had just taken his life 2 months prior. He knew his 18-year-old was depressed and having a hard time, but he didn't slow down enough. He just didn't know. And so I think the greatest thing you could do this year is maybe not EXP or selling 40 homes or buying that new house. It's saving your daughter, your son. I think that's the greatest thing you can do this year. I do. Maybe it's health. Maybe it's you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need to take some time off. I golf every Friday morning. Have not missed in 25 years. Come list my $10 million home in Hilo. Made that up. Is Hilo a place? I think it is. But all right. And so here's the deal. I just tell people, hey, I got a commitment. I don't tell them I'm golfing. When I go to church Sunday morning, they say, come list my $20 million home. I go, hey, I got a commitment, but I could be there at 2, or if I'm take Sundays off, hey, I'm booked all day. What are you doing? I don't tell them nothing. Which, by the way, you're not doing nothing. You're being a dad. Just anything but nothing. You're being a mom. You're being there for your wife. You're being there for your husband. You're being present. In 2010, I was separated from my wife for 8 months. It's the worst year of my life. I never walked around my neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. Really sucked. You know, I cried every day for 8 months. It was painful. My wife did not want me back. I was faithful. It wasn't like I wasn't unfaithful. There's some other stuff going on, but I blew it, you know, as far as, you know, not knowing where my wife was. And we put it back together. I'm proud to say we married 32 years now and 8 kids, and we're able to hold it together. And I have empathy for people who went through divorce. I never understood it. Now I go, man, I came to the edge of the edge of the edge. People who knew us said they are so getting divorced. There's no saving this. But God's bigger than your problems. He's the one who parted the Red Sea. He's the one who got water from a rock. He raised Lazarus from the death. And even if you don't believe that stuff, you're not a Christian. How about this? I'm sorry. I always wanted to be a pastor, so I've read the Bible a lot. But it always says after plagues, pestilence, war, famine, you know, whatever it is, every terrible thing that could flood, you know what it says? And it came to pass. It never ever said, and it came to stay, and they were miserable for the rest of their lives. Think of the hard times in your life when you're out of escrows, when you're struggling with your relationships, when you're having a hard time. My oldest daughter and I, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh, dear Jesus, you know, and now we're super, super, super close. I'm like, wow. And it came to pass. So that's the dirty lie of suicide. You think, nope, you'll never be happy again. And that's the darkness. That's the enemy speaking to you. You will be happy again. You will. Think of everything you've ever experienced in your life. And here's the exciting news. There's more coming. There's more struggle coming. So what's it going to be for 2024? Now I'm going to go real estate on you now. Sorry he started with Martin Luther King. Blame Dylan. None of that was in my notes, but I just went with it, right? So this is all, I'm going to be a victim. It's all Dylan's fault. So anyway, so if you didn't like that, write him an email. So here's the deal. So I'm going to stick it with real estate. I think 20%, 30% of you are super excited. The other 70 to 80% are like, man, I would have liked it to be a lot better. In fact, you know, it was the worst closing year in 40 years. Worst real estate market for agents in 40 years. Way worse for lenders. They were down to 15%. And every time they did a loan, it cost them $1,800. It cost them $1,800 more than they made to do the loan. I mean, I've seen 25, 30-year loan lending veterans with fear in their eyes. I've seen them just walk away from a 25-year lending career. You think it's tough in real estate? Ooh, baby. And so here's the good news. Interest rates have been ticking down. They're expecting it to go down 4 more times. I'm bullish about the year ahead. I think it's going to be a great year ahead. But some of you right now on this Zoom are super frustrated. And I want to speak to you. I want to tell you this. If you're miserable, you're in big trouble. But if you're frustrated, I'm excited for you. Miserable people just wallow in it. I want to tell you all about their problems. They're just miserable, right? But if you're frustrated people tend to do something about it. Like, man, I've had enough. I've had enough of enough. And when you've had enough, you clean the garage. When you've had enough, you take your car to the car wash and you throw away all the Starbucks cups and the McDonald's cups and the whatever you've got in your filthy car, and you say, I can't stand my car anymore, and you vacuum it all out, you armor all the tires, and you polish it, you dry it off, you put it by an air freshener, and you're like, woohoo, I did that. And how do you feel? You feel good about yourself, right? And so same thing in real estate, man. When you've had enough, you start doing things you've never done before. You go caveman. Write that one down. You go cave woman. In other words, you go out there and kill something, drag it home to the family, and feed them. Now, I'm not saying to go kill our clients. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you go get it done. You go start the open house at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning and you finish at 9 at night. I did an open house that has exhaust. I was out there from 1 to 4. Had like 7 couples through. How many signs you put out? I put out 7 signs. I put out 40. It took me an hour to put out 40. I finished at 10. And then I finished around 8. 10 in the morning. Then I finished around 8 at night. That took me an hour to pick up all the signs in the dark. Almost got ran over 5 times. Now that's work. That's what a woman does if she needs to provide for a family, or a man. You go work, right? Now I think, well, I don't need to do that. Well, fine if you don't. I mean, Shireen's in a position after these years, she didn't have to do that, but I did. I worked like a dog on Saturdays and Sundays for about 12 weeks, not the rest of my life, but I had so many clients. How many clients did you have? When you work like that, I would get 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 people at my open houses. It wasn't good, but when you golf every day for 60 days straight, you're a better golfer 60 days from now, especially if you golf with good golfers. If you surf every day for 60 days to speak your language, you're a better surfer 60 days from now. It isn't luck. It's not magic. It's motion. Write that one down. It is not magic. It is motion. So if you're a door knocker, do it day after day after day of relentlessly, because the more you do it, the better you get. And most people never get good for lack of better English. In other words, at the end of those 12 weeks, you know how many clients I had? 70, 80. I didn't work with sellers. People say, come list my home. I said, no, thank you. And I didn't tell this, but sellers are some of the meanest people I ever met on the planet. What are you doing to market my home? What do you mean I got to lower the price? What are you doing? My neighbor, his agent pulled weeds with him. Why aren't you pulling weeds with me? And his agent did open houses Saturday, Sunday. I'm like, well, your neighborhood sucks, and I don't want clients in this neighborhood. You can't say that, right? I want to be in Hilo's neighborhood. I want to be in Waialea's neighborhood, and so you know, and so you got to take control, manage expectations, and do all those things. And so, guess what? You got to go to work. And so, people are like, well, how do you work with 60, 70? You can't work with 60, 70 clients. So who do you work with? The ones who call you and beg you and say, I got to buy a house. I'm desperate. You guys currently beg people to buy houses. People called me and begged me to buy houses. I'll say it again. Most agents in America call people and beg them to go out and look at property and to buy homes. I only had time. The cream rose to the top. They called me and would apologize. I'm so sorry. We're flying in from California, from Seattle, from LA. We want to buy a house. We can't keep flying back and forth. It's a long flight. I hate to put this pressure on you, but Jesse, Naomi, Grace, you're a beautiful soul. I've been watching you. I've been watching everyone on here. The rest of you are not. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't resist. I'm a teaser. Just lighten up. Don't throw coconuts at me or whatever, pineapples. But here's the deal. I'm so sorry, but I hate to put this pressure on you, but we have to buy a house. We have to leave here Sunday night when we fly back or Monday morning in escrow. Our budget is $1.5 to $2 million. I don't even know if you can buy anything for that these days where you guys live, or whatever, $2 to $3 million. Can you please help? Who wants clients like that, right? You know, you get them. You do a lot of prospecting. Write this down. If you master prospecting, I mean master it, you won't have financial problems. When I worked, you just don't work. You door knock when you feel like it. Here's the life of a real estate agent. You ready? I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited, I'm depressed. Excited, I'm depressed. Excited, depressed. Excited, depressed. Up and down like a heart monitor. So what you want to do is set that thing and be a thermostat. I did open houses for 12 straight weeks. I got invited to go snow skiing. I got invited to go water skiing, to go houseboating, to go to cabins, to go to the beach house. I got those invitations. I just said no. I don't feel like doing open house this week. Who cares? I don't feel like door knocking today. I just want to go surfing, man. You know what grown men and grown women do? They freaking go door knocking. They follow their plan. You know what immature, you know what weak people with no grit do? I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out. You go surfing every day. Now, you could do both. You could go surfing every day and do it before you go to work. But it's the people who say, okay, I'm doing this at 8 a.m. and they bail and they start at noon. Instead of doing 2 or 3 hours of that, they do 30 minutes of it. And they wonder why real estate isn't working for them. You didn't follow the plan. If you fail the plan, write this down. If you fail the plan, you plan to fail by definition. If you have no plan, you're going nowhere. You're like a ship without a rudder. I almost said udder. Cows have udders. You're like a ship without a rudder, right? If you can't steer the ship, it's just going to bob out there on the open seas. You ever feel like I'm just directionless? But when you make a plan and you suck it up, magic happens. So what's it going to be? So if you're frustrated, congratulations. Write this down. Frustration is a precursor to breakthrough. You are so close to having your breakthrough, because when you get pissed, stuff happens. You mow the lawn. Some of you need to mow the lawn, clean the house. I can't stand it anymore. I don't want to live like this. And man, we have a guest here today with me, but look, everything's all shiny because me and Mrs. Gove, we're in our home in Puerto Rico, our beach house. There's Lizette. I invited, I don't know, maybe 60 people. I said, go shadow someone you want to be like, or go shadow a superstar. She's the only one who said, hey, can I come out to Puerto Rico and just watch you work? There she is, Lizette. She's amazing. And here she is. I said, sure. I had no idea who she was. Never met her before. Didn't know if she's in my group. Don't care, because givers give and takers take. And it turns out she's in my group. I had no idea, right? No. Yeah. So, but it didn't matter if she's in my group or not. I'm going to love, because I'm made to love. And I don't need anything in return. God knows what you need. He's going to give it to you when you need it. So I have 10 points. I covered the first 2. I'm going to pick up the pace. Number 3, the power of thinking bigger. I think in life you get what you expect. What do you mean by that? You live in the home you expect to live in right now. You think, this is about what I expect. You drive the car that you kind of expect to drive. You sell about as many homes as you expect to sell. No, I don't. I want to sell more. No, wanting to sell more, but what you do. And so I'm going to let you in on a secret. If you hang out with A players, just being in their presence, your production goes up 15%. I promise you, being on the Zoom, there are A players on the Zoom. And just being around them, Shireen, Duncan, Dylan, Nanaka, Chris Okamura. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at these players. Ronnie, I've heard what he said. I heard what Tyler said, and Jesse, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but here's the deal. Being in an A player's present, your productivity goes up 15%. Now listen to this. It's statistically proven. If you're hanging out with B players, and they're just, hanging loose, doing their thing, really aren't motivated, but they're solid, your production drops 30%. Their attitude, they don't have the edge, the fire. And so for things to change in your life, your finances, to retire, to pay off your home, to do something great, like Martin Luther King hung out with A players, and he himself was an A player. And what did he do? The guy got a dream. I have a dream for little black boys and little white boys to play together in the front yard. You didn't talk like that back in the 60s. You just didn't say that. It was pretty courageous to say that. And he was the star of the civil rights movements. Rosa Parks, and another hero of mine. He didn't say, I ain't going to the back of the bus. You go to the back of the bus. They would drag you off the bus, beat you, or kill you. I don't know if I'd have been courageous if I was on a bus, everybody was Asian and they were angry Asian mob. I don't know if I'd look at all of them and say, or whatever the color, but Hispanic or black or whatever they think, and say, look, I ain't going to the back of the bus. And the normal thing is to get dragged off the bus and beat or killed. I don't know if I have that kind of courage. Like I said, I respect courage. I want to believe I would do it, right? But I admire Rosa Parks. I admire, Martin Luther King. These people, Abraham Lincoln, brought an end to slavery. I admire it. I want to be that. I want to be a history maker, don't you guys? And that's why I love Ronnie's shirt, Average Sucks. Write this down. Most people live a life of quiet desperation. They won't really even admit it to themselves. So number 3, the power of thinking big, dreaming big. It doesn't mean a big yacht, a big house, a big plane. Maybe it does. But how awesome could your marriage be? I remember by 2010, I'd given up on mine. I thought, it's good. It's fine. She ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. Whatever. Let's go. So in my mind, I didn't give up on it, but I did. Today, we're in a gear I think we were stuck in fourth gear back in 2010. Been married for 19 years, 32 years now. We're in fourth gear. I'm like, there's no way to get to fifth gear. It doesn't exist in my marriage, you know? And I'd given up. And today I can tell you, man, we're in like friggin' 10th gear. I didn't even know there were so many gears, like a 12-speed, man. There's gears. There's gears in your relationships you can get to. But we were the ones in the Bahamas with Grant and Elaine Cardone and 50 other couples working on our marriage. Just a couples retreat. All we did was talk about marriage, talk about communication, talk about saying I'm sorry, talk about serving and loving the other one. That's all we did. I'm always going to that stuff. I go to the couples retreats. I make time. Well, that's because you have money. I did it when I went bankrupt at 29. I was doing that. I tried to go bankrupt in 2009. Lost my home, lost every property I had. You know, a lot of people were all in on the .com. Then it was the .com bomb. I was all in real estate. I wasn't a tech guy. And when real estate imploded starting in 05 in California, summer of 05, and then the world found out about it 3 years later after every homeowner had fired and rehired 2 or 3 real estate companies and pulled it off the market. I'll keep it as a rental. And they couldn't do that. And all the interest, all the adjustable rates unlocked. Woo. So I know what that's like. So if you're trying to sell 30 homes, you'll probably sell 15. Set a goal to sell 80. And if you fail, you'll sell 30, right? Because the question is like, what do I have to do to sell 30 homes? You ask certain questions, but you go, what do I have to do to sell 80? Like, I have no idea. Maybe go talk to people who sell 80 and ask them. Because when you talk to people who sell 30, they tell you how to sell 30, then you do some of that and you sell 15 or 20. But when you hang out with people selling 80, you go, what do I got to do to sell 80 homes? You start asking different questions. You hang out with a different group of people. And then when you fail, you sold 30 or 40. But I want you to think bigger, right? And then money, you sell 40, average commission. Dylan, what's the average commission in the Hawaiian Islands these days? Typical house. I mean, I realize it depends on where you live, but give me an average. Just
20,000 at least.
Okay, so you sell, let's go 30, we'll go low. That's 600,000 a year. What's the average commission in the MLS in the Hawaiian Islands? 2.5%, 3 typically? Which one is it?
I use 2.7 for projections because some of it's 2.5, some of it's 3. So
Yeah, some are 2 too.
2, but the average is, we'll say even 2.5. Do you know that real estate agents can calculate 2.5 of any number really fast? I think that's funny. I thought it was funny, but we can do those numbers. But so number 4, I want to read this to you. We're talking about getting in the right rooms. This quote is from John Maxwell. I love this quote. He says this: those closest to you determine the level of your success. I'll say it again. Those closest to you, your inner circle, right, determine the level of your success. No leaders, past, present, or future, are successful without this. It will either make or break them. What am I referring to? It's none other than the law of the inner circle. Who's your 2 or 3 or 4? Like, in who, I made a decision to get to know Tony Robbins. And I made it happen. I made a decision to get to know Grant and Elaine Cardone. Made it happen. John Maxwell made it happen. You want to get to know Oprah Winfield? You want to get to know Kevin Hart? It's Richard Branson. You could totally do it. Gina and Susan got to know Jewel, the singer. Get to know the guy from Yellowstone. Made the movie Yellowstone, the series. Kevin Costner. They got to know, there's ways to do this. So who are you trying to know? Do you want to know what speaker out there? You want to know Ed Milet? You want to be friends with Ed Milet? Say, I'm going to get in his world because he thinks different. I like what comes out of his mouth. Like, I don't like what comes out of Ed Milet's. Okay, well, who inspires you? A guy named Dr. Lance Wallnau inspired me. A guy named Dr. Francis Chan. I don't know if he's a doctor, but Francis Chan. He wrote a book called Crazy Love. I'm attracted to stuff like that. What crazy love? What's that? It's love that goes out And I think probably, and I'm going to embarrass her, but I think Shireen's probably one of the best examples of this. Probably one of the most loving people I've ever met in my life. She loves, doesn't expect anything in return. That's a beautiful thing. Don't ever change, Shireen. Don't ever change. And the rest of you, you need to work. No, I'm kidding. Again, I'm a teaser. But you guys are all amazing. I love you all. You're great. But the point is that, how would you like to be known as a giving, loving, room lifting person? Zoom lifting. When I'm on Zooms, I actually smile a little because I sit there. Some of you are like, right? And you look like a serial killer. The speaker's looking at you guys, and so I smile. Sometimes you saw when someone said, "Oh, I called a non-EXP agent because I want to sponsor them." If you call an EXP agent somewhere in America, they're already in EXP. Why not interview 5? And now you have a reason to talk to them. Hey, I need to make a referral. And you complete your fiduciary duty to your client. And I was at Remax. I interviewed agents from all companies because I'm not playing the corporate guy. Yeah, I'm going to call one of the Remax agents in Wisconsin. No, my obligation to my client is to give them the best referral. It may be a independent. It may be a Coldwell Banker agent. It may be the competition from Remax, which back then was Keller Williams. But if Keller Williams was the best agent, it's not my pride. Like, I would never give one to Compass. I would never give anyone to EXP. That's wrong thinking. And by the way, if you can interview 5, you can interview 10, 15, you can interview 100. Hey, I'm interviewing a handful of agents, a number of agents. My client wants me to do this, and then I'm going to recommend a handful, and they're going to choose. But now you have a reason to talk to them, or you can cold call them. Your choice. So a referral is a great excuse to get to know people in San Diego. You can interview a lot. So I'll say that. But number 5, permission to fail. I want to give all of you permission to fail. You guys, progress before perfection. Well, when I figured this, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to look stupid. Those are things narcissists say. They're so concerned about how they look, how they are perceived. Write this zinger down. You ready? You can't fake authenticity, right? Yeah, people love authentic people. That's some of Shireen's magic and Chris Okamura's magic and Dylan Nanaka's magic. They're very authentic. They're very real. I could tell Ronnie, he's an amazing guy. He's very authentic. People resonate that. Tyler's like, man, we could do more than just be a real estate agent. My clients knew that I had their back and I helped them a squatter and they were remote. And when I got done, they sent me this card and a bunch of other neat, sweet things because the client knew he went way above and beyond. It's like, well, how little can I do to get paid as much as I can? That's how takers think. Givers are like, man, what can I do? And then how can I exceed that? John Maxwell says, if you want to be successful in any industry, look around and see what the best are doing and then exceed it. The number 1 agent in the world for real estate is a guy named Ken DeLeon. He lives in San Jose, California. San Francisco. He is not number 1 for Coldwell Banker or Remax or EXP or Keller Williams. He was a Keller Williams guy. He went independent, but he outsells everybody, billions and billions of dollars annually. Number 1 agent in the world. And I watched his listing presentation. Google him, find it on YouTube. He goes, when you list with me, Tyler, I set up a full espresso bar at the open houses. And I have live music at the open houses, and we serve champagne, and the kids get mocktails, and we have live jazz music, and we put a show on. We're gonna feature your house, and when you list with me, I use professional photographers. Not my iPhone. Here's examples of listings with an iPhone. Yeah, the camera's good, and yeah, those Samsung phones are maybe better than the iPhone. The word there, but you have no business taking pictures of the house. I actually hire professional photographers, very expensive, to showcase your home in the very best light. And when you list with me, my general contractor is going to come over for 3 hours, and you're going to give them a list of every leaky faucet, everything thing that needs to be caulked, every wobbling ceiling fan, every loose fence board and post, and he's going to go knock it all out. It's on me. It's my treat. And when you list with me, my roofer's going to come over and turn up your roof so we don't have something that catches off guard and can be kill the sale, because it was a simple roof repair that could have been made, but because they saw an issue, they ripped off all the tiles, and they saw more. Then they're up in the attic like, oh my God, there could be black mold. Cancel the sale. I'm not spending $5 million on this mold infested house. When a simple preemptive roof inspection. When you list with me, my painter will come over and do 3 hours of touch-up work. Well, I can't afford all that. Well, when you list with me, my housekeepers, 3 of them, are going to come over and scrub your toilets, scrub your showers, wash all the windows inside and out, get the tracks out. Do you talk like this? That's how Ken DeLeon talks. #1 guy in the world. And he has a list of like 30 items. So if I was still in real estate, I don't have to work like Ken, because he didn't build a sales organization. He still's got to work. But we'll talk about rev share later, right? But here's the deal. I would build a list of 40. What's his list? I'm adding 10 more. And then fulfill on that list. And then you tell your house cleaner, hey, if I give you job after job after job after job, can you give me a deal? You tell your painter, hey, I've given you a lot of jobs last year. Can you give me a deal when I get a listing? Would you go do touch-up paint for 3 hours or 2 hours at $50 an hour? Yeah, sure, man. You give me so many jobs. Last job I got from you was $30,000, $50,000, $10,000. Yeah, I'll go do it for $100. And then you don't realize the contractor giving them bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels. You're doing the dishes, and he'll go, yeah, man, I'll go over there, $80 an hour. I'll go for 3 hours. 80 and 80's 160, another 80. That's $240. And you add it all up, all that stuff I just said. Could have been like $1,500. I go, Brent, I don't got $1,500. Well, go get it. You're a businesswoman. You're a businessman. My son had 3 friends from college. They bought a truck used, 10 grand. So these 21-year-olds can find 10 grand, and you can't find $1,500. You deserve to make nothing in real estate. I'm just challenging you a little bit. I'm challenging your thinking. Like, oh my gosh, you can outdo the #1 agent in the world. You just add more value. I was on a flight to Atlanta. I meet the guy. We're in first class. I go, we're talking. He asked me to do real estate. I go, what do you do? And he goes, oh, I'm a crown molding guy. That's all he said. And I go, well, you must be a pretty good, successful crown molding guy. This is an expensive flight from the West Coast to Atlanta, first class. He goes, yeah, I did pretty well. And I go, do you have like a group of crown molding guys that work for you? He goes, yeah, I do. I go, how many? He goes, it's big. And I said, well, tell me your story. He says, well, I moved to Atlanta 10 years ago, and I was desperate for money, so I started doing crown molding. I know how to work with wood a little bit. And he goes, I go, oh, so you're like Norman Rockwell of crown molding, or really, Stradivarius? He goes, no, there's tons of guys that are better than me. I'm like, really? So why did you succeed? He goes, because if I said I'd be there at 8 a.m. Monday morning, I was there at 7:40. And I said the job would be done Tuesday at 5. I would get the job done Tuesday at 5. That meant sometimes I had to get there at 4 in the morning, because maybe I bit off more than chew, or something went wrong, or it wasn't ready, but I get there at 4 in the morning. He goes, I always completed the job on schedule. I was always there when I said I'd be there. And when I hired my crew, I made them show up 20 minutes early, and we finished on time, kind of a whatever it takes thing. And word got out in Atlanta, you want crown molding? You may not count on the plumber to show up or the roofer to show up. They have a bad habit of not showing up. My crew, we showed up. I became a multi-millionaire just because I could show up and mean what I say and say what I mean. It's that easy. John Maxwell says, add more value than anybody else in the room. Go into a restaurant. You got a waiting list. You got restaurants in Hawaii? You got people out front. Are you serving them a little cup of coffee? It's breakfast. You're walking out. Hey, guys, are you serving coffee? Do you have some cute little 17-year-old from the local high school? Her job is that, hey, welcome. We're glad you're here. Let me serve you some coffee. Decaf regular? Is she loving on the people waiting? Does that happen? I get goosebumps thinking about this, what I could do in the restaurant business. Oh, your kids, would you like some hot? Is it okay if I get them hot chocolate? Yeah. Would you like whipped cream on that hot chocolate? This is the people out waiting. We just think of serving them when they get there, and they're out in the parking lot, grumpy, pissed. How much longer is it? What if you actually brought some appetizers out to the parking lot? What if you over-delivered? What if you added more value than the other restaurants around, right? You with me? And so this could be done in real estate too. but permission to fail. You want to look good so bad, you never start. You want to look good so bad. I'm telling you, I get inspired to speak all the time. I have failed more than anyone on the Zoom. I have epically face planted. I've tried this idea, that idea, radio twice, failed. I'm the king of failure. You want to win in life? Write this down. Ready? Fail often and with velocity. That is how you become successful. Sorry, wish I could say everything you do has to work out, has to be perfect. You have to say the right thing. If you're not driving away from listing appointments and working buyers when they said, well, we want to go to dinner and think about it. We want to sleep on it. Hey, yeah, you look great, but we're going to interview one more agent tomorrow. And you're trying to I should have said that. I didn't know what to say. Oh, or you said something and it came out stupid. And you're like, oh, it's so stupid. Why did I say that? If you're not doing that 10 times a day, you ain't working. You're playing. You're playing real estate. Here, I'm going to play with you. Patty cake, baker. Come here. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. You roll it and roll it. You ain't serious. You're just playing real estate. You're playing real estate. I'm not kidding. I did open houses from 9 to 9, Saturday and 9 to 9 Sunday, just for 12 weeks. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Bought 40 signs. Got them stolen, ran over, trashed, picked up by law enforcement. Bought 40 more signs. Cost of doing business. Found out some HOAs don't allow them. Took all my signs. Okay, didn't go back there. Found out certain areas didn't allow it. Certain towns had sign ordinances. They'd take all my signs. The sign people didn't go back there. It's painful. I kept moving on. Kept learning where I could use my signs, how I could make it work. Where there are sign ordinances, but they do allow it in these areas. So I plaster those areas with signs, and I get 50 to 100 people. I had so many people at my signs have to stand in a chair and say, excuse me, can I have everyone's attention? I'd be giving speeches at my open houses. So as we wrap it up today, number 6 was, I forgot. Number 5 was permission to fail. Number 6, the struggle bus. Everyone write this down. You ready? Everybody struggles. I want you to know that. You thought it was just you. It's just you. You just felt so bad for yourself. It's how my marriage or my finances. I have nothing in escrow. Listen to me. Everybody struggles. It rains on the just and the unjust, and it will in the future. Here's your job. My pastor always says this. It's your job to respond well in the trials and tribulations of life. That means if you need money, you don't rob a bank. Robbing a bank is responding poorly. You have to make good choices. Now, the funny thing is, how do you make good choices? You make some bad choices, but hopefully you don't go that far bad, right? But you want to say the right things, say the stupid things again and again and again. And pretty soon you just quit doing it. Pretty soon you do it so much. You're swinging the bat, swinging the bat, swinging this bat. Oh, when I swing this way and I keep on playing, there it goes. And you kind of figure it out, and you'll never get there if you don't do that. So number 6 was get on the struggle bus. Number 7, progress before perfection. Just start. Start the podcast. Start the YouTube channel. Write the book. Start. Try radio. Just start. Try it. I've done all that stuff. I have a podcast, BrentGove.com. People love it. It's like this. I have a YouTube channel, over 1,000 videos posted. I just started with one little video. Start with one video. I got a YouTube channel. How many videos? 1, right? And so Chris can put this on his YouTube channel. So progress for number 8, massive action creates results. Not a little bit of action, not a pretty good amount of action. No, massive actions. Because what happens is you do this as I'm wrapping up, slow and painful, or invert that learning curve and get it over with. You have a choice, slow and painful or fast and fun. Slow and painful, I've been on that for years sometimes. When you had enough, in 1999, I've been in real estate for 4 years, and something happened. I ran out of escrows. My wife was full-time with the kids. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, or maybe a 7-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I ran out of escrows. I had nothing in escrow. I was freaking out. And I'm like, this is unacceptable. I've been in real estate for 4 years. I made $400,000 that year, but I have nothing in escrow, which means we're not going to have any income. If it takes 2 weeks to get something in escrow, when it's a 30 or a 45-day close, we have no income for 2 months, like nothing. And it upset me. So I said, dream big. I was trying to sell 50 homes a year, maybe 60. I said, the heck with it. I'm going to sell 30 homes in the next 30 days. Didn't have a team, didn't have an assistant. Now, that's a big goal. And it made me ask a question I never asked. How am I sell 30 homes? You sell a home every day? Yeah, you get 24 hours all day tomorrow. Like, could you sell a home tomorrow? I suppose I could. I go, what would it? Well, I guess I have to show property every day. No more. I'm going to go to the office, set up appointments to show property later this week or this weekend. I have to be setting if I go to the office today, I'm setting up appointments for this afternoon and tomorrow. I started showing property every day, sometimes twice a day. Just a house, a condo, a halfplex, a duplex, a big home, a little home, a investment home, a second home. Like somebody somewhere seen something, period. And when you start talking like that, stuff gets done. And that's the nice way of saying it. And so let me tell you what, I snapped in 1999 and I failed. My record was 7 sales in a month. How would you feel if you sold 7 homes in the last 30 days? 7 times 20? $140,000, you'd feel pretty good. I didn't know if I'd ever do it again. I was selling 3 to 4 a month, 3 to 4 a month, maybe 5, but 7. I sold 14 that month. I doubled my all-time record because I started thinking bigger. Everyone says, crazy, I can sell 30 homes in 30 days. Most people in Hawaii just want to sell 30 this year. Is all you didn't work? No. I still golfed every Friday morning. I still went to church every Sunday morning. I still took my wife out every Wednesday night and Saturday night. I just crammed passion. Passion is infectious. Passion, authenticity. I'm just me, man. I ain't gonna say it right, but I said it so much I started saying it pretty good, and it started working out a lot better because I was afraid. I was wanting to get muddy. I was wanting to face plant and get up and wipe the mud off my face and go again and face plant, get up off and pretty soon I didn't face plant that much. Pretty soon I'm like, that was pretty good. Wish I had that on videotape, man. I nailed it. Well, I nailed it because I failed so much. So number 8, massive action creates results. Number 9, your families count on you. Step up. Your family. You got a family. They're counting on you. And it's time for you to step up and be a woman. Be a man. Step up. Grow up. I'm calling you out. Tony Robbins always says, step up, man. Set higher standards for your life. Be the voice. He says, be the voice. What does that mean? I always thought it was weird. Well, there's a voice that says, not you, Tyler. Not you, Jesse. Jessica. Brent Hogg. No, not you. Shereen. Chris. No way in hell. You get the and so you have the voice. One sits here, one says, this one says, well, maybe I could. Brandy, maybe I could. This one's like, who are you kidding? I mean, look at this guy, Brent Gove. He looks like 007. Look at the good looks. He's great. Look how beautiful he is as a man. I'm kidding. I got to lose a few pounds, But here's the deal. I don't care. People, what's so contagious? Love. But have you read the book Crazy Love? I have. Have you read the book The Friendship Factor by Alan Oy McGinnis? I have. Or have you been to Todd Duncan? He's the #1 mortgage trainer. We're real estate people. Why would we go to the #1 mortgage trainer? Is the #1 mortgage trainer? He said, stop it. Quit just taking apps. What do you want to buy? What's your debt to income ratio? Here's our program. Blah, blah, blah. He's done it. Stop. Slow down. And I could only see a handful of you. I can only see like 8 boxes. So I apologize for not addressing the rest of you. For whatever reason, I can only see 8 boxes. But get to know Linda Shine. Get to know Jessica. Get to know Jesse and Tyler and Chris and Shereen and Brandy. Slow down. Why do they want to refinance? Why do they want to do a purchase? What's motivating them to move? They have a baby. Their kids graduate and leave and they're empty nesters. Slow down and get to know your people. Connect with them from here. Slow down. That's what Tyler did. That's why Tyler got a nice gift with something extra, because he slowed down and he knew it. That's the magic. So that's number 9. And finally, number 10. I'll end with this. Ready? Number 10. So I have no more to do because I know you guys are already antsy. You're like, it's been long enough. Get him off there. Get a cane. Woo, pull him off. I'll say this. You guys ready? I threw my notes down. What was it? I remembered. So your life can transform radically to where you bounce out of bed at 6 or 7. This morning I was waiting for the clock to hit 7. I told myself I stayed up a little late, go stay in bed till 7. I'm like, is it 7? Is it 7? Is it 7? I can bounce out of bed like Tigger, man. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. So here's the deal. If you need an alarm clock to wake up, your goals and dreams aren't big enough. So your life can and will radically transform, not in the next 10 years, not in the next 5 years, not in the next 12 months, not in the next 6 months. I'm telling you, about 100 days from now, you could be a completely different person with a completely different set of financial circumstances in 100 days. If you will quit playing patty cake, bake me a cake, roll it in, roll it, and you put it, right? And so here's the deal. You got to get serious, but you have boundaries. Doesn't mean you're going to work 18 hours a day. Now, if you can't feed your children, go work. If you're going to lose your home, you guys going to be homeless and live in a car, go work 24 hours straight. I don't care what you got to do. That's what men and women do. They show up and they fight. If you're in that kind of situation where you cannot feed your kids, you need to go to work. Okay. You need to get a part-time job, hustling tables, and do what you got to do. Okay. I'm not saying that. But if it's not that situation, then you need to decide when you're going to work. And when it's time to work, man, you show up like King Flipping Kong. And when it's time to not work, you take the phone, right? And you throw it, and I landed on the chair. Thank God, I threw my phone, and you're with your kids. By the way, last week I removed Facebook from my phone, I removed Instagram from my phone, and I removed that thing called YouTube. I love watching UFC fights. That's nothing better. It's referee. It's agreed upon. It is a sport. If someone wants to tap out, they tap out. I don't like watching street brawl fights because anything goes. But sometimes I found myself watching four-wheeling, surfers, and someone got brushed by a shark. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but then they show every shark attack that's ever happened. I'm like, oh God, I ain't going in the water. Or they show balloons lighting on fire, and I ain't going in hot air ballooning ever. And you see every hot air balloon, and you watch plane crashes, and you just find yourself really hitting the reels. And personally, thank you, Tiara. But I took it all off my phone. I didn't really have a big problem. I was on Facebook 5 minutes a day. I was on Instagram 2 minutes a day. YouTube, I would definitely zone out on YouTube, take a break. Don't need to do that. It is not on my phone. Don't have them. And so guess what I'm doing? I just finished this book, Prayer Circles. Praying circles around your children, praying for your kids, The Power of Prayer by this guy, Mark Batterson. Amazing author, great book. Prayer has a power to move mountains. It's effective. My next book I'm reading, probably started tonight, David and Goliath by this guy you never heard of, Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell, famous author, David and Goliath. Can't wait to read it, but I've spent 0 time on YouTube, 0 time on Instagram, 0 time on Facebook, nothing. It's off my phone because I got stuff to do. I got promises to keep. I got people to love. I got lives to change. I want to be a history maker. I don't want to be the Dash. Born 1966. That's when I was born. Died 2024. I'm going to live longer. I'm going to give and love more. And don't you have enough money? Just retire. If I hated what I did, I would do that. I love what I do because I'm loving you guys. Thank you for having me on. I cannot wait to come out to build in Honolulu in May. I will be there for you guys. In 2 weeks, we're going to be in Maui. Those of you in Maui, or get on a plane, come see us, hang out. Like, wasn't it sold out? Nothing's sold out. It'll say sold out on certain venues. No matter what, you show up to Tony Robbins, you'll get in. You show up to Grant Cardone, John Maxwell's event, show up, you'll get in. They never ever say, I know you flew all the way from. Nothing is ever sold out. There's always someone who literally broke a leg, lost their passport. Someone got the flu. They couldn't make it. They'll fit you in. I'll see you in 2 weeks in Maui. I hope I see every one of you in 2 weeks in Maui. You hang out with this mastermind. Let's go surfing. Let's go snorkeling. Let's walk the beach together. I'll go golfing. Let's go golfing. Let's go to dinner. Let's hang out. And I'm gonna be there. I hope to see you guys there. Much love, you guys. I'm sorry. I know I went a little over. I went 13 minutes over. I'm a bad man, but I love you guys. I'll give it back to Shreen, Dylan, and Chris. Love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Mahalo.
I
Mahalo.
appreciate you so much, man. Always bring some insight. Everybody's loving this, man. Like I said, you can show up and send your pizza recipe and they'd love you. It's your energy. It's infectious, and it really shows the love you've had. I've known you forever as well, and you are the kindest, lovingest person I know on this planet. So he's always available to you guys. Yes, a couple weeks is Maui. Real Bill is in May. We're excited to have all that, and I'm glad to see everybody in this meeting every Tuesday now. Well, the first, second, third, and fourth Tuesday. Now we've condensed the meetings, but you guys have an amazing week. I love you all as well. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and have an amazing week. See you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank
Awesome.
you, Brent.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris.